Who is this person?
Eddie Murphy.
What's going on, guys? BMS and Naya back with another video. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Make sure you guys don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So here we go.
Who is this person?
Eddie Murphy.
She said that was Eddie Murphy?
Yep.
From Coming to America?
I want a woman that's going to arouse my intellect as well as my loins.
Where will you find such a woman?
In America.
My question of the day is, why are so many of you girls cunts? Like, I thought we hated men, not each other.
We're inclusive here on my page. Women are not the only people who give birth.
Hey truckers, why is it now I have to flash you to get you to honk your horn? When back in the day, all I had to do was this.
The biggest joke of all time is that students who are pursuing helping professions have to become literally poor in order to get the education that will allow them to serve their community. Like, why does it cost $100,000 a year for me to get the training I need to spend my life serving children of at-risk populations?
Another option is, you can help go the one route of like just do your bachelor's, do as much as you can, find a husband, and you can still do what you want, but you're also raising your own children too.
What about general laborers? They literally wake up at the ass crack of dawn, they go to work for 8 hours, they do the exact same job over and over again every single day, and then they come home and they get their set paycheck at the end of their 2 weeks. That is selling your body. That is objectifying yourself.
This cannot be real, okay?
What did she think was gonna happen? Like, this obviously, she knew it was gonna happen.
Oh my gosh. Is this what it's come to?
It's for clout. It's just for views. That's literally.
You think so?
Oh, come on.
I think
literally for views.
I think about 50% of this is real, honestly.
Nah, I don't think that was real. I think she was doing that for views 100%.
Right. Not her specifically, right?
Okay.
But I mean,
the other ones?
What, 9 of video? Like, at least 4 of these are real, I would say.
Maybe. I hope they're not. I really hope this is just for views, to be honest. But listen, at the end of the day, like, we've been doing so many of these videos that I guess I have to agree with you.
Yeah.
But part of me just doesn't want to believe it.
I'm going to show you what happens to my lips when I use this. I have like a major allergy, but yet I love these so much. I have probably about 15 of these, and this is my favorite one. And I have like a major allergic reaction. I can't even explain it because it's like so weird. But it always gives me like this extra like plumpiness in my lips, and I just can't even. It hasn't even been a minute yet. Oh my God, it's burning. Oh my God. I got it.
What the hell is that?
Why do people not understand that you can't be racist to white people? It's impossible.
Hey, bestie! You're wrong. I think it's time for another adult pre-K lesson. What do you think? All right, turn your listening ears on. Zoop, catch a bubble in your mouth. Good job. Okay, here's the thing. Having a preference is something like, I'm looking for a partner who likes kayaking, or wakes up early in the morning, or loves pizza. But when your preferences exclude an entire group of marginalized people, that's problematic. Okay, that's not nice. That's not a preference. If you lump all fat people in one group together as though they are not very different individuals, that's fatphobic. Just like lumping all black people in one group and saying, I don't like black people is racist. And lumping all disabled people in one group and saying, I don't think people in wheelchairs are hot is ableist. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yo, when did I get to people? What happened? Oh my gosh.
What is she really saying? Like, I'm trying to really grasp what she's saying.
I think she's saying that so for men who don't like big women, she's saying you're being discriminatory towards them. Like, so you can't have that's not called being having a preference. It's called you're discriminating towards bigger women.
So if I don't like fat women and there's 10 fat people in front of me, and I'm like, yep, not interested.
Yeah, you're discriminating against fat. I think that's what she was trying to say. But it's not about you having a preference of like, I just prefer. It's not that I don't like you as a person, whatever. It's just your preference is that you want someone who's maybe like healthier. Weight, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that nicely.
Make it make sense.
I don't know where she was going with that. And then comparing it to a racial thing, I'm just kind of like,
that's just stupid.
You're kind of reaching a little.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think she's probably obviously she's hurt because maybe she's been looked over.
And she's kind of projecting.
Yeah.
At that point. Okay.
Yeah.
I find it so funny how people will write in my comments, "You're a pig," or send a little pig emoji. Because last time I checked, men liked bacon, so oink oink, motherfucker.
Men have it way easier with dating. Let me explain why. Men pick who they pursue versus women pick through who pursued. Big difference. Society says that the man pursues the woman. This means that men get to go through an incredibly healthy exercise of looking at all their options, deciding what they want, and then spending their time pursuing that. Versus women are taught to sit back, wait to be pursued, and then from there you decide what you do and do not want from potential suitors coming up to you. This is way more time intensive, and let me paint a picture of why. A man who comes up to you and you decide there's some things you like, some things you don't know about, you go ahead and give him a chance. After getting to know him for 2 weeks, you decide it's not right for you. That means you just spent 2 weeks on somebody that you may or may not have picked out of a crowd to begin with. And a lot of us women don't even realize that this is happening because this is just the way things are. So it's incredibly distracting to figure out what you want when you're in the process of this kind of dating.
Okay, so she's missing the point that majority of men are overlooked, right? Yeah. So she's making it seem like guys have an abundance of women that they can choose from, and ultimately, you know, they're going on a whole bunch of dates, when in reality, it's only 10 to 20% of the guys that are actually getting the women.
Yeah, no, and she also mentioned, even in her explanation, she was saying how, like, all women have to do is just sit back and wait. In your explanation, women have it easier.
Right.
Like, I'm confused here. Why, like, she's contradicting herself. So I was really confused being like, you realize you just explain it that way, right? But
it's just stupid.
Have you ever wondered why you're so pretty yet men are not chasing after you? Well, here's why. Well, think about it. Have you ever seen a line outside a Gucci store? Outside a Chanel store? What about Louis V? See, that is exactly what happens. You are a very expensive, exclusive, high-priced item, and not everyone can afford you. So they don't even bother asking for the price.
So is that what it is? It's because, you know, you're too expensive and you're just too beautiful, and is that what it is?
Nah, guys don't want her. That's really what it boils down to. Like, there's something up that guys are basically saying, I don't want to deal with this, right? Because if you're decent looking and, you know, you're submissive and all that good stuff, guys are going to want to wife you up quickly. So the fact that, you know, you're being overlooked, and I mean, she's a decent looking girl, I mean, there's something wrong with you.
And sometimes you kind of have to take a step back and be like, all right, if I know I have done what I could exterior wise to attract like men. So if you're doing what you can and you think you're like, you've obviously, you know, you're fit, feminine, friendly, whatever. So from the outside, you look good. Maybe there's something on the inside that needs to be changed, right? So I think a lot of women just constantly keep thinking like, oh, but I'm beautiful, and thinking that's all that they need, without actually thinking like, okay, what is it that I can fix to better my odds or better my chances, right? So I think it's important to also take a step back and be like, all right, what can I do to better my situation? Other than I got the exterior figured out, maybe it's something within my personality that I need to change.
So this is for all of my single over 30 people. Is anybody else just over this hookup culture? I mean, I get it. I'm online, I'm trying all these things, but like, what happened to romance? What happened to, you know, a little bit of chivalry? Whatever happened to all of the nice things that men used to do instead of everyone asking us, what are you doing? Can I come through? Is there any real men out there at all? I don't know. Help me out.
There are men who just want to hang out with you, get to know you, and take you on dates and court you. Like, there are men who want to do that, correct? But you also have to allow those men to come into your life, right? So those guys may not be as appealing to you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think for her, she's probably just thinking like, okay, well, everybody I've encountered only wants to hook up. And she's like, why? Why is all these people, apparently everybody just wants to hook up? It's like, no. Those are only the ones that are like, that you're paying attention to. Mm-hmm. But if you kind of open up your horizon a little bit more, being like, okay, maybe what I'm going after, or what's being attracted towards me is not what I really want. So let me change maybe some things and try to get a different kind of guy. Like, what are your thoughts?
Majority of women want the bad boy. They want a guy with a bit of an edge.
Well, don't complain then about hookup culture, because you know the bad boy has all the options.
Because
and,
they, they want the guy initially, and then once they find out the guy is not going to stick around, then they complain about it. But if they had a really nice guy that worked a 9 to 5, as we've done in previous videos, they don't want that guy, right? Because that guy's boring to them.
So then choose your pick. Like, you know, there's good and bad with everything, right? So nothing is ever going to be 100% perfect.
I am so sick of the normalization of the phrase, can't make a wife out of a hoe. Funny that there's no equivalent about men. So I figured let's make some. Can't make a husband out of a...
Save yourself till marriage. Your husband will thank you for that. It might be hard.
Imagine being so insecure with yourself that you need to tell other women how to treat themselves. Girl, you could have your bullies, but why do you feel the need to push them onto everyone else that's really, really weak? You could be a virgin that's super chill with me. In reality, that just means there's more dick for me.
I just think it's really funny that misogynists always want to talk about the 1950s housewife archetype in order to insult or like put women in their place, but they never want to talk about the gender norms for men in the 1950s. Housewives only existed because men were expected to be working men, which meant they got up every day at 8 a.m., put on a suit, and went off to work and didn't see their family until 5 p.m. And they had to do this because they were expected to be the sole provider for 5-person families, which was obviously more manageable in the 1950s, but bear with me. Not only that, but when it came to dating, the pursuit was 100% the man's responsibility, which meant the guy had to initiate every date, and you had to take a girl out at least 4 or 5 times before calling her your girlfriend. Definitely weren't getting laid. And then you had to get married before you were like 23. All financial responsibility fell on the man. So unless you want to pay for every date without having sex until marriage and then buy me a house and then work every single day of your life to pay for my lifestyle and children that you never get to see, don't tell me I belong in the kitchen.
It's a lot of anger, I find. Like, that's the one common theme that I see. It's just a lot of anger and kind of this, like...
But some of these women are so young. Yeah. Like where's this anger coming from? It almost seems like it's being manufactured. Like the anger is not real.
Well, a lot of it is seeing other people's experiences as well. And then being like, you know, getting angry from that, being like, oh, look, like, I know this, my best friend went through this and I was so mad. So your feelings kind of get attached from that other person, or even on social media. When you see problems from other people, then you're like, oh, that guy's trash. And then you end up getting in this cycle of like, oh yeah, all guys are trash or something. So
yeah, but how are you 20, 21 with little to no life experience and you're already tainted and calling men trash? You know what I mean? Like, you haven't lived enough to know what you like, what you don't like, you know, how to really attract a man. You know what I mean? Like, it's just this victim mindset.
If I'll be honest though, I think a lot of young minds are impressionable, right? And they're very much like follow the crowd. So if a lot of people are saying men are trash, being like, oh yeah, me too, I agree with that, because you want to feel like a part of whatever the larger movement is happening, right? Because you don't want to be left out. So if you're young and you're like, you know what I mean? When you're young, you just want to fit in. So a lot of girls may think like, oh, like if someone else is being like, oh yeah, that guy's trash, you may not think that, but then you're like, yeah, he's trash too. Yeah, you're right. And then to try to feel like you're a part of something, right? But obviously that's not the right mindset. So young girls kind of fall into that. I feel like. And
it almost feels like the younger generation, they're kind of soft mentally. Like everything bothers them. Everything is, I feel oppressed and all this stuff. And it's like, you're 20. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just don't have enough life experience to or shouldn't, like, you shouldn't be feeling that way at 20 years old.
Yeah. I remember even being at like, I think 16 or something, and then being like, oh my God, life is so hard and whatever. And then my dad would just tell me, being like, you're still young. You don't know nothing. You don't have to pay bills.
Mm-hmm.
You know nothing. And then you kind of get that reality check. And then then you obviously appreciate where you're at. Because then other people tell you how hard it is to be an adult. So appreciate being young right now.
The more options and outlets you give these, types of modern women, the more they are kind of showing who they really are, right? Because, I mean, no one's forcing these women to go on TikTok and talk about this, right? I mean, these are their thoughts and the way they feel. So it almost feels like the more options you're providing these women, these modern women, the more they're kind of imploding, and there's no structure, right? Because you look back 50 years ago, even though women had less, options with voting and things of that nature, it seems like there was more structure. It was more sustainable long term, and there were kind of like this hierarchy, so to speak, of the head. You had the woman and you had the child, right? And it was working for so many years. And now you fast forward to 2021, it almost seems like the family structure and everything's kind of lopsided.
Because of all the stories of women feeling like, oh, I can't leave my husband because he's making all the money and I make no money. So that's where the women's work opportunities start coming up, right? And then now more women are like, I'm not going to put up with this. I'm just going to like leave. And that's kind of where the family structure kind of comes into play. Because again, women make up, out of the divorces, 70% of them are women who are filing for divorce because they're like, I'm fed up. I don't have to stay here. I make my own money so I can go elsewhere, right? Where I'm not bothered. So I think the foundation of like staying together it's not just about you at that point. When you're married and you have children, it's more than you, right? And you try your best to figure it out. And I think we're missing that, like, we stick it out together as a family and work through our issues and do the best that we can. I think we're missing that part.
But yeah, I think it boils down to options. I have the option to, pay this lawyer $300 to make this marriage disappear, and I can just go about my business and be a boss babe, right? So I think women back then had more duty to stick around because they didn't necessarily have the money. And there was also a shaming aspect to it where if you got divorced, you were shamed from society, your family, you were like the talk of the town. Your family and friends were talking about you, and, like you didn't want that on your name, so to speak, right? And you look at today's society, women are pretty much bragging about getting a divorce and, pretty much saying that men are trash. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and end this video. If you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time.
Bye, guys.